Hello everyone, this is Dr. Lennon, and I want to go through the problems for the Test 2 review. So let's get started. So you can find the problems on Canvas. I have them printed out as a PDF, and I'll also post the solutions there. But we'll go through the problems one by one. So the first problem is just to verify that the given value is a solution to the equation. So the equation in question is 7 times the quantity x minus 3 equals minus 2x plus 60, and the point that we're checking is x equals 9. So just plug in 9 on both sides. We're not trying to solve the equation directly. It's possible I could give you a point where it doesn't happen to be a solution, and then you would just say that. So we'd do 7 times 9 minus 6. 9 minus 3. I'm getting a step ahead of myself there. It should not have said that. So 9 minus 3. And I put an equal bar with a little question mark over it because we're really just checking to see if this is the case. So then we have negative 2 times 9 plus 60. So on the left-hand side, we end up with 7 times 6. And we want to know, is that the same as negative 18 plus 60? Well, 7 times 6 is 42, and negative 18 plus 60 is also 42. So yes, that checks out. So 9 is a valid solution to the equation. All right, so let's move on to the next one. The next 3 problems are all just solving linear equations. So they kind of get consistently harder, so we're just solving. So we have 11x plus 5 equals minus 3x plus 4. So the main goal is to just collect x's on the same side of the equation and numbers to the other side. Just to be consistent, usually I try and keep the coefficient of x positive when given the opportunity. So I want to move the x's to the left-hand side of the equation and the 5, the regular numbers, to the right-hand side. So I can basically add 3x and subtract 5 to both sides. So the 5's will cancel on the left, and the minus 3x will cancel with the plus 3x on the right. So I end up with 14x equals negative 1. Divide by 14. And that will be your solution. So our answer here is just x equals negative 1 over 14. Okay. The third one involves solving linear equations as well. So we're just going to solve. And we have the distributive law being involved here. So we have 8 times the quantity 5 minus x. And that is equal to 3 times the quantity 4 plus 7x. So once we distribute, we'll end up with a problem similar to the previous one. So let's just remember the distributive rule. So what it says is it's basically how to remove parentheses. So if we have some number a times b plus c, then this is actually equal to ab plus ac. And it could work on the other side as well. So if we had b plus c times a, we could still write it as ab plus ac. So you can multiply through from either the right-hand side or the left-hand side to remove the parentheses. So that's what we're going to do on both sides here. 8 times 5 makes 40. Minus 8 times x is minus 8x. And then 3 times 4 is 12. And 3 times 7x is 21x. So then we're just like in the previous problem. So what I'll do is I'll add 8x both sides and subtract 12. So I'm going to do minus 12 plus 8x and minus 12 plus 8x. So the 8x's cancel on the left and the 12's cancel on the right. So we end up with 28 equals 21x. 29x. 29, we have a 21 plus 8. So we divide by that number 29, and that's our solution. So we have 28 over 29 is the value for x. All right, so on to number 4. Number 4 is going to be the trickiest of these problems. We have 5 over 6 times the quantity x minus 3. Sorry, hit a wrong key on my writing tablet. Minus 3/4. And that's equal to 1/8 times the quantity 2x minus 3 in this problem. So again, we're on problem number 4. So the key on this one is to multiply both sides by a common denominator, a common multiple of your denominators to clear fractions. So we're looking at 4, 6, and 8 are the 3 denominators. So if you just kind of count by multiples of each until we find a common number, you'll see that 24 appears on both lists. 6, 12, 18, and then 24, and then 8, 16, and 24, counting by 8s. So 24 appears on all 3 lists. So that means if we multiply both sides by 24, all the fractions should disappear until the end. So we get 24 times this whole left-hand side, 5, 6 times x minus 3, minus 3/4. And then we have 24 times the whole right-hand side, 1/8 times the quantity 2x minus 3. So what happens is we essentially have 2 terms. The 24 is going to get multiplied by the 5/6, and then also the minus 3/4. And on the other side, it's just going to get multiplied by the 1/8. And then once we're done with that, we'll distribute the remaining numbers to remove the inside set of parentheses. Currently, the 24 is just being multiplied by each term inside the brackets. So 24 divided by 6 is 4, and 4 times 5 is 20. So the first term is 20 times x minus 6. And then we have 24 divided by 4, which is 6 times 3 makes 18. So that's what the left-hand side simplifies to. So all the fractions are gone on the left, and on the right, 24 times 1/8 is the same as 24 over 8, which is 3. Times 2x minus 3. So now all the fractions are temporarily gone, and we can solve it just like the previous problem. So get rid of the 2 remaining sets of parentheses by distributing. So we get 20x minus 120 minus 18 equals 6x minus 9. Then we can spend one step to combine the minus 120 and minus 18, so we get minus 138. And the other side is 6x minus 9. So then, well, we want to move the regular numbers to the other side. So we're going to subtract 6x and add 138. So subtract 6x and add 138. So we should get 14x equals, I believe that's 129. Yeah, 129. And then divide by 14 to get our answer. So, yeah, so that's your answer right here. We'll just move it over here to the side. X equals 129 over 14. So that is the final answer to problem number 4. Okay, problem number 5 is a ratio problem. So problem number 5 says the ratio of A to B is 100 to 3. If A is 2,800 pounds, what is the value of B? So basically we know that we can set up a proportion. So basically if we set up our, so we're going to get one fraction is equal to another fraction. So We know 100 is to 3. All right, so basically the things that are on top, we're writing our fractions in the form a to b. So if a is 100, b is 3. So we're trying to find the equivalent fraction when we have 2800 on top, because that's telling us what the value of a is, and then b on the bottom. So again, we can just cross multiply to solve this. So we get 100b equals 8400. And then divide by your 100. So the value of b is 84. So we could write a sentence interpreting that if we want. We could say when a is 2,800 pounds, then b is 84 pounds. And there's not really any context given here, some type of equivalent forces or something like that. But again, sometimes if you have different units, then you can also use your units to help you set up your proportion in the correct way. Okay, so this is going to end the first half of the review. So I'm going to make a second video just because the screen recording software I have puts a cap of 15 minutes on the videos. So we'll come back and we'll do problems 6 through 10 that focus mostly on equations of lines and also the distance formula.